What's up, everyone? Happy 2024. It's so good to be back with you. This year, I'm getting us started off with a series I'm calling Timeless Tarot. Readings that are relevant year-round, that contain perhaps a song, a word, an image, a message, something that is important for your success, for your everyday creative well-being, for your holistic well-being, for your relationships, for your career. So the intention is that when you find this video, whether it was posted in October of 24 or whether it was posted in January of 24, when you find the video, there's something meant for you. These videos will not be associated with any particular signs. What I'm noticing is we all have features of all of the 12 signs within us. So it can be difficult sometimes to find useful information. Perhaps there are some things that we find very poignant or specific that relate to our personal journeys. But what I think is happening in our universe in general is that things are becoming more related over time, not necessarily in the sense of DNA or genetics, but in the sense of creativity. We're all starting to realize that things are shifting into the age of the remix. I almost want to call it an age of innovation, an age of collaboration. And I think that because of that, when we watch videos that are Aries specific or Gemini specific or Cancer specific, Capricorn specific, those kinds of videos don't always necessarily give us what we need. And it becomes kind of like chasing your birth chart, watching videos for all of your placements in order to get kind of a round picture. So my intention with Timeless Tarot is to try and address more specific needs for a wider breadth of humanity. So I don't know if it's possible, but this is my attempt to do it. I truly hope that you find some clarity or guidance in this video for your Q1 of 2024. Some of us celebrate the new year on our birthdays. Some of us celebrate on January 1st. So for those of you who are, happy New Year to you. And for all of us, I wish you the absolute best 2024. All right, so Timeless Tarot is based on your intuition. It's not based on your sign. So on the next screen, you'll see 3 cards or 3 images that correspond with this reading. Go ahead and click on the one that resonates with you. If you're having a really difficult time, feel free to rock, paper, scissors between 2 or flip a coin, or you can go to Google and type number generator, set it between 1 and 3, and ask your angels, your guides, your ancestors to guide as you click go on that number generator. Come back to this video and click in the description box for the time that responds. I'll see you in the reading. Group 1, it's so good to see you here. Thank you for joining me at the Soul Tree. If you chose the first group of cards, this reading is for you and how you can tap into your most organized self in 2024. You're starting off with the Oracle card Braveness, and on this card it says, I am brave. This card really resembles the Empress card to me. The Empress has been a card that's been coming up for a lot of different signs that I've been watching tarot readers do. It seems like everyone is kind of getting Empress energy. We're in a very fertile time period right now. It seems 2024. 2024, when you add 2, 0, 2, and 4 together, you get 8. 8 is a number of self-reflection. If you turn it 8 sideways, it's like an infinity symbol. So this time is one that is very abundant, very fertile. If you are not trying to have kids, if that is not something that you are planning for your present or your future right now. Also, I'm getting that if you only want to start a family because you want the image of a family, or you want to appear or like have the self-image that you are a nurturer or a giver, find a different way to nurture and give before you have kids. Perhaps kids and a family is not what you really want. You may just actually want the feeling of nurturing and like self-nourishment, but the strength in you, the strong part of you wants you to find another outlet or another inlet by doing the inner work required to allow that kind of love to pour into you, or by doing the research and the socializing and networking required to find an outlet that will give you that sense of community, the sense of emotional comfort and like nourishment. And I'm also getting like rootedness that a family tends to give us, or the idea that we have a family gives us. If you look around, there's a lot of families existing at this time that actually are not happy because our parents, many of our family members, this could be in your family, or it just could be like a general observation that you might make. A lot of us in our families and in our social groups exist around people and within families who only started families and are only together because someone had sex, or because someone decided it was time for them to get a wife or get a husband. So be brave in this time period, because having the things that you want may not actually bring you the satisfaction and fulfillment that you're hoping for. And it's going to take courage and bravery to actually go out and get those things or find those outlets and inlets for yourself. Remember that going out and finding an outlet is just one way of saying, have the courage to face your fears and do what's not easy. Often the going out and finding the thing that we need to do is actually sitting with ourselves, staying in, being in hermit mode. That is a form of being able to just be with yourself, listen to yourself. What does your body do when you're alone, when you're just by yourself in your own energy? Where's there tightness, and like where can you expand or like release some of that tightness? Another really brave thing to do is auto write. If you have a pen and some paper or a phone that has a notes app on it, you can just open that up, sit with your tools, and just let your brain do what it does without any judgment or without any interference from you and how you might want to perceive yourself as a writer or as an artist, or how you might want to perceive your self-expression. I'm also thinking about this lion on the card. Leo is the sign of creative expression, authentic self-expression, and Leo really wants you to not hide your mane. Have you ever seen a lion like wanting a little mane? I don't even know if that's like a real example, but if you think about lions, a sign of a healthy lion, a sign of a healthy pet is a thick, shiny, like furry, clean mane, and like just allowing yourself to be free. It seems like some of us it's time for us to bloom, it's time for our branches to stretch, and it's time for us to allow our leaves to start sprouting and blooming, even though it's the winter time. Some people bloom in winter. I wish that I had a natural example for you, but you can Google it. But that may be you. You may be the person whose time it is to shine, but you may be like shrinking down, and it's actually harming you from within. So you may notice like a skin rash. Like I always break out when I take too long to get back to my practice, whether it's yoga, whether it's coming on screen and being vulnerable in that way. But just pay attention to your body, because if you're having any physical things going on, it may be because bravery, courage, that is the antidote. Facing something or doing something that you maybe have been hesitant to do, that is how you heal your physical. All right, so that's just your oracle card. You do have 4 other cards that are going to give me some insight and clarity into how you can tap into your most organized and authentic self in 2024. So we've got your braveness oracle card. We've got your braveness oracle card. Here you also have the Ace of Baskets or Ace of Cups in the Mainstream Tarot. And you've got this affirmation. It says, my happiness can be measured by my level of faith in love. All right. So because both of these cards have very romantic and like relationship energy, and then you also got the braveness card, which reminds me of the Empress. I'm feeling lots of like Venusian Libra energy in your reading thus far. You also have got opposition, which is symbolic of resistance, struggle, and polarity. And then finally, you have the moon, which is your emotions, your subconscious, and your instincts. So like I said, I was feeling lots of Venusian Libra energy. The moon is also the celestial body that represents our mother, our femininity, our ancestry, and our emotions. And so I'm getting that from this reading that it feels like there's a need for self-compassion here. It seems like there's a need for being brave enough to love ourselves, because you may be someone who you pour yourself into work, or you throw yourself into things that require a lot of focus when you've had your heart broken or when you've experienced a disappointment. And if you are that person, you may not always be aware when people are trying to pour love into you. It seems like working and like finding a focus or finding a passion project, these are wonderful outlets and wonderful things that you to pour into. But it seems like these are wonderful ways for you to practice self-love, practice consistency, and stay involved with something healthy. But it seems like they take away from attention on others. And that is a defense mechanism. That's what I'm getting. I'm not trying to call you out, but think about where you spend your time. Like, what do you do when you are just like hanging out with yourself? And on what level is that you being happy in an attempt to not have faith in love? Or to what degree might that be like an attempt to feign happiness because you don't have the strength or the courage to actually face the uncertainty of love? So I think that's something to consider, just because you may be missing out on like actual opportunities that people who have really been waiting a long time want to pour into you. Like it seems like there's someone here. It could be a family member, it could be a romantic partner, but really what I'm getting is this could be family, family or friend. I'm not really getting so much romance from this. It also could be like a creative project or passion that you just may not have faith in because you've experienced something negative or you've experienced something discouraging related to it. But it seems like there's a lot here. Like there's an opportunity for a fresh start if you can be brave enough to have faith in what's possible. Okay? If you have the courage to have faith in other people to return the energy that you pour out. I do think that some of you are really tired. Like this person, this woman on this card with the lion, they are just by themselves right now. It's her and her beast. So there are times probably when she is just too tired to use her sword to protect herself, and she needs her beast to come out and roar for her and destroy for her. There are times when her lion needs a lot of nourishment, her lion needs a lot of food to sustain itself. Humans can probably last longer without food than animals that are heavier and just overall meatier than us. But sometimes her lion can't do the work. Sometimes she is the person who needs to make shit happen and make shit rock and use her sword how she knows to use it. But that requires a lot of bravery. Trusting each other on this journey by yourselves, there are mountains in the background behind them. So they've overcome some journeys, they've overcome some challenges, they've been on a long road together, and the ground beneath them looks barren. It doesn't really look like there's much around them. So I'm sure there are times that all they have is each other, but they find ways to have fun with it. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but there are little flowers on her jumper here. And these flowers indicate that she's able to see the gift, she's able to see the fun and the pleasure and the play in things that require a lot of courage and bravery and strength. So I think that this reading is an opportunity for you to address some sort of oppositional experience or some struggle or polarity between, like, not trying to see the middle ground or find a happy medium with someone that maybe you just haven't been able to see eye to eye with. But this is an opportunity to build that bridge, it seems, by facing your fear. Go into the dark and trust that the moon will shine light for you. Walk into your subconscious and respond with your instincts instead of reacting with your ego. Sometimes when we have oppositional situations and experiences with folks, we tend to, our ego steps in the way, right? Our beast steps in the way. Our ego wants to just like come out and just shut shit down. Like, you're not gonna speak to me a certain way. I'm not doing this because you think this is XYZ. I personally can relate to this because of generational differences. So if you're just finding yourself, I don't know why that experience is just coming to me now, but if you're someone who is experiencing like a little bit of resistance with a family member, or especially someone who is like above or below a generation or a couple generations from you, keep in mind that when we can find the play and respond with our instincts to love rather than our ego, right, we can actually find happiness. So just keep in mind that happiness is not far away. It just is going to require you to try something a little bit differently. I can tell that whatever the situation is, there's a lot of love here. As you can see in this basket on this side of the card, this basket has been being filled up with flowers that, you know, they don't last very long. But this person has flowers to the back. So they're ready to keep pouring in. Every time these flowers get old, there's a new batch, a new stash ready to be filled. So I really think that whatever this opposition is, there's a lot of potential to mend. There's a lot of potential to mend. The moon is a feminine energy. It also controls the tides and the waves. So just imagine like a really messed up shore, like that was just ravaged by some sort of natural disaster. And my heart goes out to anyone who is affected or who has family and friends who are affected by the recent earthquake in Japan. But you can imagine what an ocean, a healing water can do for a place that has been destroyed by fire or destroyed by anger, that kind of like passionate, fiery, perhaps a little dramatic, sometimes Leo energy. Leo is not the only dramatic sign, no shade, it's just that there's a line there. But lean into the feminine, instinctive side of you, and also remember that like, if the struggle is with yourself, if you are someone who struggles to be kind to the younger version of you, give yourself credit for who you are now in the present. You're a little older, you're a little wiser, you dress a little better, right? Hopefully. Hopefully you just are able to give yourself love, your younger self love that you didn't think you had or you weren't able to receive at this age. You at this age deserves you at this age. And if you at this age deserves a better version of you, then this is yet another opportunity to love yourself in the present. Love who you are now, or think of yourself as this person in the seat and allow an older version of you to come and give you the love that you did not receive when you deserved it, which is every day. So that's what I have for you all for pile one. I genuinely hope that this brought you some form of clarity, guidance, peace in your heart. And remember that the ace, you have the ace of baskets here, the ace of cups. Remember that the ace is always a fresh start. So if something just feels like you're so done with it, like you just can't find the motivation to engage with it anymore, or you just don't think you know what the solution is, think of this year, this day, as your first day to make a change. And to invite love and to lower those walls that you've built up over time to help you survive, and just let it pour in, all right? I'm also getting before you go that you need to know to spend some time in a garden or around nature. And that can also mean spending time around things that come from nature, like your dog or your grandparent. The holidays can be a bit of a rocky time, and we can definitely have our interactions with our family members that aren't so great, that might feel oppositional, if you will. But bravery means that we are able to find the joy in nature and balance it with sometimes the obstacles and the distractions. All right? So remember, your happiness can be measured by the level of your faith in love. If this reading brought you clarity or gave you some guidance that you may have been in search of, please go ahead and like the video and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you here next week for the next Timeless Tarot. Hello friends, my name is Kaari. Thank you for joining me at the Soul Tree. If you selected the second set of cards, this reading is for you. So your first card, let me just go ahead and clear the space a little bit. Just gonna clear the energy from the last reading. These are already deep. I can tell that 2024 has a lot in store for us. There has been lots of romantic energy, relationship energy in the readings thus far. So if you're dealing with a specifically relationship related issue, you may also want to watch the video for the first set of cards. All right, and let's go ahead and dive in. So you started off with the Oracle card Meditation, and it says, I still my mind and surrender to the divine. This person is seated in a asana, in a yoga asana. She has her hand on her belly, on her navel, which is where your sacral chakra lives, and she also has a hand on her heart. These two chakras, your sacral rules your pleasure center and your creativity, and your heart represents your love and your ability to both give and receive in a way that is unconditional. So the Meditation Oracle card could be an invitation for you to spend time with yourself, spend time reflecting and giving yourself the love and pleasure that maybe you feel is more difficult to access around other people, or when you are in a role that you need to really be in character for example, at your job, or when you're taking care of your kids, or when you're being a husband or being a wife. So I think the meditation card here is really an invitation for you to focus on what your mind does and where it goes when you are alone, and when you're able to really sit with your own thoughts. This is also similar to the first set of cards, the reading for the first set of cards. So if you're interested, I would definitely recommend watching that, because I'm already getting some self-love, needing to be with self, needing to be in hermit mode. It could be that there's something that you really need to know or hear, or perhaps someone that you may have lost in the years is wanting to communicate with you in a way to give you peace and to help you find clarity. But I'll go ahead and clarify. This card came out with the Daughter of Coins, or the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is someone who is really devoted and dedicated to whatever they're working on or whatever they're learning. The Page of Pentacles is a learner, they're a student. They're the person who is taking meticulous notes in class. They're the person who shows up early and stays late because they want more practice, more time to observe, more time to to perfect and refine whatever the skill is that they're learning. The Page of Pentacles is also someone who struggles to ask for help, only because this page is very grounded and they know that there are specific steps and there's a way to do things. But because they know that, sometimes it prevents them from being creative or thinking outside the box or asking the authority figure or someone who they could learn from for help. Something that I'm currently experiencing is realizing that there's so much wisdom in people who I don't always think of as my teachers necessarily. So, for example, like the bartender at the bar near my house, or the friend that I FaceTime once a year. These people are resources for us. Because this is a Page of Pentacles, we have to remember that the earth element is us. We represent the earth and the earth represents us. So if you have your own tarot deck and you pull Pentacles cards, remember that this could also be talking about society. It could be talking about the other humans around you. Often we think about like plants, coins, actual pentacles, right? But people are also pentacles. We are the wealth of the earth as well. As our plants, obviously, as are our pets, our wonderful fur friends. So keep that in mind that when you meditate, you're also allowed to take time and ask yourself what you need. You're allowed to use yourself as a mentor, but you're also allowed to take a playful approach to asking for help. For example, you can take a playful approach to asking for help, meaning it doesn't always need to feel like someone is your professor talking down at you from their podium across, like down the stadium. I don't even know, like, that's such a graduation related visual. So if you or someone you know graduated recently, like perhaps look into that situation. Perhaps some of you are on your way to, or you're in the process of learning a skill where that would allow you to graduate into a next level. Perhaps some of you are graduating into another level. If you're someone who never was able, like you always tried to meditate and it's just so difficult for you to just sit there and focus on it, this could be a time that you're graduating into that next level of actually being able to meditate, actually being able to visualize. A lot of us are beginning to realize how powerful our manifestations truly are. Sometimes, I guess, before it became very mainstream to discuss manifesting, I think that we were under the impression that manifestation requires you to have some sort of like heightened spiritual ability. But I think what we're all starting to realize is that this is something that is accessible to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So if you're not really sure, like, how to use your gifts, you may be someone also with like spiritual or intuitive gifts. If you're not sure how to tap into that, or if you're just curious about it, you may just want to ask for help by watching the Soul Tree, or watch other people who your intuition calls you to, the same way that you chose this specific pile of cards to listen to this reading today. Your intuition is also leading you to and drawing you to your mentors, your teachers. I'm visualizing the Hierophant card in my head, the gatekeeper. Sometimes we are our own gatekeeper, and all it takes is for us to either focus, be still long enough to realize what we actually want, or it just takes for us to have the courage to ask, or to try things differently. You also have here Supermoon, the card for Supermoon, and it says luminosity, intimacy, and hyper awareness. So something's going to be illuminated for you. It could be like a mentor, a teacher, a collaborator. Remember, mentors, teachers, and collaborators can all be younger than us. They can be from age 0 all the way to age 200. If you know someone who's 200 years old, that could be definitely a resource for you, right? But teachers don't always have the look that we necessarily expect. I used to be a classroom teacher for 8 years, and now I'm reading tarot on the internet. A teacher could be your financial advisor, or the grocery store clerk. So it could be anyone in your environment. And I think that, again, I mentioned the word intuition. You also have here Pisces, and the card says it says Pisces. The card says psychic, intuitive, and dreamy. So you definitely are someone. I didn't even see these cards here until I'm just channeling, and I didn't realize that the Pisces card was here, because this really does tell me that you're someone with spiritual gifts. And the more grounded you get in allowing yourself to explore them, so stillness, allowing yourself to sit, allowing yourself to ponder, allowing yourself to slow down, allowing yourself to ask for help, sleeping, getting enough rest is huge for you. And I believe that when you do these things, when you allow yourself to get artistic, auto-write. I mentioned auto-writing in the first set of cards, so you definitely may want to watch that. But once you allow yourselves to do that, you will definitely receive some sort of intimate awareness. I'm getting the words together. Intimate awareness of your psychic or creative or spiritual or emotional abilities. So I definitely think that this first quarter of 2021. I said 2021. What were you going through in 2021? Because that may have a similar, that there may be something there that happened in 2021 that's coming back around for you in 2024, where you have the ability to create a different situation or shift circumstances in a way that supports you. I believe for some of you, if you're ending your Saturn return in 2024, 2021 was when you would have started that journey. And this Pisces card actually does indicate to me, that because Saturn is in Pisces currently, there's some sort of hyper awareness or luminosity, some new understanding of something that you may be experiencing this year, or that you have started to experience toward the end of 2023. So this year in 2024, I believe is going to be a year for you to really be on a learning path, on a spiritual learning path. Remember that this meditation card says, I still my mind and surrender to the divine. So remember that there are always celestial bodies. There are always forces greater than us. And I really don't even mean in a spiritual sense necessarily. All of our big ass planets in the sky all have their own gravity, right? And they all have their own gravitational pull. They all have their own strings that are invisible strings, if you will, that are attached to Earth, because it's all one system, right? So remember when you're in meditation or when you feel anxiety that there are always things greater than us, and that when we send out love energy, when we send out love and pleasure energy, we draw those things to us. And when we send out pleasure energy without having the love to balance it, that's why it's really important to have our chakras balanced. This card is just really giving me that idea of balanced chakras as well. But it's very important that our chakras are balanced, because when we send out pleasure energy without also sending out love energy, we often only attract people and opportunities that actually just want to take advantage of us sexually, or take advantage of our ability to give and receive pleasure. When we send out balance with love and pleasure, and then we mix in some of that solar plexus as well, having our confidence to show up for ourselves and defend ourselves, that's when we really are attracting the things that are going to be holistically fulfilling to us. So I hope that this reading gave you some clarity, some guidance thus far, perhaps touch on something that you may be experiencing. And I'm going to leave you with 2 affirmations. So the first affirmation you have is, I show up for myself and the world. And I literally just mentioned the solar plexus chakra, which is represented by yellow. The sacral chakra, which she's touching at her navel here, just below her navel here, this is represented by the color orange. And then the heart chakra is represented by the color green. So you may want to also incorporate some greens, some yellows, some oranges just into your life, into your foods, into maybe your nail color, your makeup, however you love to express yourself. Those colors could really also help you amplify and balance out the energies of those 3 chakras. I show up for myself in the world. This means that what I'm getting now is there may be some of us that are dealing with trauma, and we need to speak up for ourselves, and we need to make sure that the people around us know what our boundaries are, what we will not be putting up with. It's okay to make folks aware of what our boundaries are when we're minding our boundaries. Sometimes it can feel abrasive to say, like, this is my boundary and don't cross it, before anyone's had a chance to kind of get comfortable. But I love to, a friend of mine really just gave me this beautiful advice that I set my boundary and then I mind it. So I'm not saying I'll cut you off if you do this, but if I notice that this is starting to be, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know what that setting is, but that's really cool. And I didn't edit it to do that. I wonder if Apple has like a new setting they do. Anyway, yeah, it's okay to, it's up to us to mind our boundary is the point that I'm trying to make. If people are starting to encroach on a boundary that we've set with them, it's up to us to say, hey, I don't like that. Don't do that again. Remember I told you? Okay, right? So it's okay for us to mind our boundaries. And when we show up for ourselves and the world, our higher selves show up for us, and the world shows up for us as well. The second affirmation you have is, my eyes will see what I desire. So I think this is an amazing card to come out with a meditation card, because your eyes, you have 2 eyes, yes, on your face, but there's also another chakra. It's so interesting that the chakras keep coming up in your reading. There's also another chakra that is called the third eye chakra. It's also known as the brow chakra if third eye is a little too esoteric. But I strongly encourage you to just learn a little bit about the chakras. Google the episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and type chakras next to it. Just put that in Google and watch that video, because it's a really quick, beautiful explanation. I'm actually gonna link it in the video description. I'll link a little TikTok that is a clip of that video. But your third eye chakra will also see what you desire when you meditate. So I'm really grateful that these cards are coming out together. When you meditate, you can notice any energy around your brow. So some of us sit with our brows furrowed and we don't even realize that our brow is doing this. A lot of us, sometimes it's just because we live in very sunny areas, but some of us, we're dealing with so much shit during the day that we don't even realize our eyebrows are doing this, right? So just notice when you meditate, like soften your body, soften the skin of your face, soften, like unclench your fists, lower, just like relax your shoulders, let them drop. And just notice any energy that is around your third eye. Notice if you're able to see any images, if you randomly think of a song tune. Always try to remember to like clear your mind, allow thoughts to come and go in meditation, but specifically focus on any images, because my eyes will see what I desire indicates that perhaps there's a change or a upgrade you're trying to make in life. The Page of Pentacles knows a lot about upgrades because they know how to pass every quiz, right? And see what your third eye sees, if you will. All right. If that's too esoteric, just notice any tension or any like tingling around your third eye. Write down any dreams that may be coming to you in your sleep. And remember, Pisces is the dreamy sign. So Pisces knows how to sleep better than anyone else. You also may be someone who has a Pisces placement. If you have Pisces Mars, look into what actions or competition might be coming up in your life, what conflict. If you have Venus in Pisces, look into any romantic or relationship, familial situations. Also look into like how you make your money or how you spend your money as well. And then remember that Saturn is in Pisces. So if you are learning any hard lessons in life, meditating and visualizing and showing up for yourself could be extremely, extremely helpful in bringing some harmony and peace to those situations. I hope this brought you some clarity, and I hope that spending time with your eyes closed and your body in meditation, I hope that brings you so much peace in 2024. I will see you next week in the next Timeless Tarot video. Thank you, friends. Thank you for joining me at the Soul Tree. My name is Kaari. I am so excited to do my first Timeless Tarot reading for you. This reading is going to be about organization. How can you become your best, most organized self? And this is for you if you chose the third set of cards. So I hope that this reading brings you clarity and guidance. Let's get started. All right, we're starting out with 2 affirmations. You have, I am not the victim, I am the lighthouse. And you also have, true abundance is an inside job. And these affirmations are from Gabby Bernstein's Miracles Now deck. So I strongly recommend this if you're someone who loves a good affirmation for guidance. And maybe you're not all the way into tarot yet. This is actually my first deck ever. All right, so in the Astro Alignment deck, you also got the card Descendant. And this is your descendant sign. So your descendant sign is the opposite of your ascendant, also known as your rising sign. For example, I have a Gemini rising and my descendant is Sagittarius. That is the opposite sign of Gemini. So the descendant card is about attraction, relationships, and partnership, all right? You will usually find your descendant in the 7th house. I think always. You'll always find your descendant in the 7th house. So what's going on in pile 3's relationships, partnerships, and attraction? Ooh, I'm loving this already. For your oracle card, you got divine guidance, and it says, I am divinely guided. And then you also got the 7 of Wands and the 8 of Baskets, or Cups. Cups are baskets in this deck. So we got these 2 cards here. I'm just going to go ahead and get the energy of this. Okay. So for some of us, we may be dealing with tension in our relationships. We may be dealing with people who don't appreciate us the way we deserve to be appreciated. And I just noticed I'm using second person pronouns, we. Is we second person? All right, so I just noticed I'm using first person pronouns by saying we. And yes, I can already relate to this reading, but I remove myself from these readings. So because I'm using a first person pronoun, it may be that we are overly identifying with our relationships, or someone that we're in relationship with is overly identifying with us. And it seems like there needs to be some sort of release of emotional baggage here. It seems like we are, still saying we. So you may be in a romantic or familial partnership, or even a business partnership that is feeling like baggage. Like it feels like it's not copacetic, it's not harmonious the way it used to be, because there's baggage that's just starting to feel heavy. This woman in the card here is walking away from 8 baskets, and she's going down a path that she doesn't know where it leads to. It's not green. She doesn't know if this really grows anything. And actually, it looks like, I can tell in this picture, based on the colors of the leaves, that it's actually fall. And the autumn season, the fall season, is when we shed things. We shed our leaves, and then the winter is where everything kind of freezes, goes back into the earth, and we're really pulling from strength and power from within us. We're not relying on our environment as much. We're going within, and we're finding our energy and our strength from ourselves. Because of that, this card, I am not the victim, I am the lighthouse, is really standing out to me. You are in this partnership, you have to be your own light, because you're not getting the same light, the same love, the same energy that you're typically used to getting from whatever this connection is. It doesn't have to be a partnership or relationship with another human. It could be a relationship with your job, or a relationship with a passion project, or a substance that used to bring you joy and used to bring you calm and peace, but now you're noticing that you actually are having to kind of like clear it out. I love this 7 of Wands, because the wands on this card, you can't really see them, but they're all little they're bundles of sage, right? And she's saging out these officers on this side of the card here, who seem to be holding up like riot gear. And this person in her white dress that represents purity and peace and clarity, she didn't come here to fight. She literally came to clear out all the negative energy that caused these officers to dress up in their riot gear and come out in a very intimidating fashion, right? But she doesn't seem intimidated at all. This is the kind of relationship this is the kind of experience that you're having in this relationship. And you're really ready to, again, don your white, don your purity, clear it out, cleanse it. And you're ready to leave this behind. You're ready to leave these heavy, tense, and just like generally unsavory feelings and interactions behind. That's what you're going through in this connection right now. Remember that these are about partnerships. So whatever the sign is opposite from your rising sign, that is your descendant sign. That could be really helpful for knowing how to interact with this relationship. So I'll give you an example. As you can see on this card, all 12 signs are listed around the circle of this card. If you have a Cancer rising, you would have a Capricorn descendant. So the traits of Capricorn are what could be useful for you in dealing with whatever this relationship is that requires you to like defend yourself, defend what you know is right and what you know is true, and leave behind toxic old baggage. So for example, if you have a Taurus rising, Scorpio would be your descendant. Some strategies that would support that would be to lean into Scorpio qualities, the higher polarity Scorpio qualities. Like, you also have the Oracle card here, Divine Guidance, and I'm just going to read out of the book what this card specifically says, because I think that Divine Guidance it can be just like listening to our intuition, but it really is more than that. The book says here, I am divinely guided. You are guided and held by the universe, and this card asks you to pay special attention to any synchronicities that appear in your day-to-day life. Remember to breathe, surrender, and trust, as there is a higher power guiding you. Pay attention to the synchronicities that appear as you go about your day. Try to notice certain numbers, animals, words, colors, or images that you see repeatedly. Do they have a special meaning for you? You might want to reflect on the many times in your life the universe has guided you to the best possible outcome. When we trust in the synchronicities around us, the sounds, the topics that come up over and over again, perhaps the songs that we hear, the numbers that repeat themselves, the colors, when we trust that these things are all aligning to help us find clarity and to help us find our most joyful, best aligned mode of existence, we're also giving the universe clues that we trust ourselves. We're telling the universe, I trust that when I walk through this door, I'm always walking into prosperity. I'm always walking into loving community and arms that are willing to embrace me. And we're showing the universe that we're ready to be sent the gifts that are waiting for us. So trusting in divine guidance is one way that we can also remind ourselves that we are not the victim, we are the lighthouse, in the sense that we attract light. When we open our little shutter window, the shutter window of our heart, and allow our light to shine, everything else and everyone else around us can see us and say, oh, that's light. Light attracts light, all right? I'm just gonna pull one more clarifying card to see what advice there is for this pile. And you got the Fool. So the Fool, I mentioned trust, I mentioned trusting ourselves. The Fool completely trusts themselves, so much so that when they walk out on water, they know that the ground will form beneath them. They know that their emotions are, they know that they are wise enough emotionally and also guided enough spiritually that they can fly. The Fool also knows that a new opportunity does require a little bit of uncertainty. There's always going to be uncertainty to deal with, but the Fool trusts so much in themselves and their environment and the universe that they're able to be successful because the Fool is the first card in the major arcana. So if they weren't successful, he'd probably be like the last one, right? But yeah, please trust yourself. Listen to any songs. I'm almost getting like, oh my gosh, this old song by Amanda something called, I can't remember what the name of this song is, but it was so popular in the early 2000s. It was like, God sent me an angel from the heavens above. That is what's popping in my head right now. But listen to music that inspires you. Connect with spirit in whatever ways that means to you, whether that's just sitting by water, maybe whether that's caring for your plants, whether that's spending time with your family, going to church, reading a holy text, reading a not so holy text, listening to music. Trust yourself and know that the urges that your body has to defend yourself and to leave behind old baggage can absolutely be supported by you trusting that the decisions you make are right and by not allowing things to make you question your intuition. All right? I hope that this reading brought you peace, guidance, and clarity, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me at the Soul Tree for Timeless Tarot, and I will see you next week. I hope that whenever you find a Timeless Tarot video, they're going to be labeled based on topics. So there's going to be some for organization, which is today's topic. And I'll be doing these weekly so that by the end of the year, we'll have around 51 to 60 videos. I generally don't it's not that I don't set intentions or I don't have goals, but I don't plan on taking action toward those goals until after the winter is over, which is closed out by Pisces season. So Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, the last one. We're at the very end of the seasons, technically. So here in the Western Hemisphere, at least. So what I do is wait until Aries season before I really celebrate a new year. Like Scorpio's ability to read between the lines, Scorpio's ability to use tension to create beauty, Scorpio's ability to alchemize things. So Scorpio can walk into a room that feels like very heavy and obnoxious almost and find humor in it. That's also a Capricorn trait as well, finding humor and joy and pleasure and genuine joy and pleasure in situations that are very grueling and harsh. Scorpio is also able to process emotions on their own without having to rely on others. And that's not necessarily the healthiest way to do things, but it's Scorpio's strength. Scorpio knows how to wield power. Scorpio knows how to interact with other powerful figureheads and characters in life and still maintain its groundedness. That is, Scorpio to me represents like a very grounded water sign. It's fixed water. So it's kind of like a pond where ripples happen, yes, they do, but for the most part, all the activity is below the surface, right? So